Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel, and in our top stories today from the AP, Supreme Court lifts restrictions on LA immigration stops set after agents swept up U.S. citizens. Now, as far as I can tell, only one they give as an example here, but nonetheless, of course, this is yet another victory for Donald Trump. And as we've always talked about here on the BuzWeaver channel, the Democrats are just simply doing this to slow Trump down. They can't actually stop him. But the Democrats have to look like they're doing something so that these individuals, either the criminals or the ones that they're defending now across the United States, as well as immigrants and others, don't turn on them, particularly the rioters specifically, who are Americans, as you may know. So the Supreme Court on Monday cleared the way for federal agents to conduct sweeping immigration operations for now in Los Angeles, the latest victory for President Donald Trump's administration at the High Court. He's simply doing his job. This is what they're supposed to do. See, they always try to make this into some sort of competition. The conservative majority lifted a restriction ordering from a judge who found that roving patrols were conducting indiscriminate stops in and around L.A. The other barred immigration agents from stopping people solely based on their race, language, job, or location. Now, see, they're trying to make it about race again. The court's 6-3 decision followed a pattern of at least temporarily allowing some of the Republican administrators' harshest policies while leaving room for the possibility of a different outcome after the legal case plays out fully. The net effect, meanwhile, has Trump pushing ahead in many of the areas he considers most critical. Yeah, exactly. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to, and people apparently don't understand what ICE means. That's Immigration Customs Enforcement. They go wherever there's a problem with immigration. Not in particular cities, not with permission from particular cities. They go after this because that's what the federal government does. The Democrats know this. The majority did not explain its reasoning, as is typical of the court's emergency docket, but Justice Brett Kavanaugh said the lower court judge had gone too far in restricting how immigration and customs enforcement, as I just said, what they do, that's their job. Immigration and customs enforcement agents can carry out brief stops by questioning. The prospect of such after-the-fact judicial second-guessing and contempt proceedings will inevitably chill law and immigration enforcement efforts. That's exactly what they are doing. They are trying to make it as difficult as possible for law enforcement to do their jobs. As we have seen, as we've said here, this goes all the way back to Trayvon Martin, when they decided, the establishment and the left and Democrats decided to go after law enforcement in general. Now, if we scroll down here, you see more than 5,000 arrests have been made. Arrests since June the 6th. And we had a big one here in Georgia that just happened, where 457 people or 475 people were also at a Kia plant, a Hyundai plant. So here it was. I was born here in the States. Plaintiff included 3 detained immigrants and 2 U.S. citizens. One of the citizens was Los Angeles resident Brian Gavin, who was shown in a June 13th video being seized by federal agents as he yelled, "I was born here in the States, East LA, bro." Okay, so it wasn't just the one person. There was actually several. The article is quite extensive nonetheless, but Gavin was released about 20 minutes later after showing agents his identification, as was another citizen stopped at a car wash, according to the lawsuit. So you see, where's all the complaining when it comes to roadblocks, right? Where are the people out there that are complaining about roadblocks? Where are all the people complaining about in New York when they had stop and frisk? So we had all this stuff going on. So another victory for Donald Trump to be able to do his job, because that's what his job is. That's what immigrations and customs enforcement does. And as we can see here across the bias meter here on Ground News, it goes from left to center and the right. So it's getting covered across the board by the various outlets. But of course, in the eye of the public opinion here, we have What the F GOP. When someone asks you, how did 1930s Germany happen and no one stopped it? Show them this kind of stuff. Right, exactly. So if it doesn't work in the favor of the Democrats, it doesn't work in the favor of the left, then obviously there's something wrong with the Supreme Court. There's obviously something wrong if things don't work in their favor the way they want to. And here we have Gavin Newsom, Maroon, California. And then the Supreme Court ruling 6-3, as we just mentioned here. And then, of course, that this news was breaking as of this recording, of course. And the Supreme Court lifts the restrictions. So it's a victory for Donald Trump. And let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on this continuing lawfare by the left and the Democrats as they continue this just keeping law enforcement from doing their jobs. And we've seen this before. And, of course, now we already know some of these blue cities don't even want Trump to even try to help them with the successful law enforcement efforts he's had in D.C. It's really quite extraordinary, is it not, ladies and gentlemen? But nonetheless, guys, below this video, you can find the various social media links that I belong to include X, by the way. But I do appreciate all of your guys' support on BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey. You guys have been amazing. Of course, the likes, the shares, and the comments help out tremendously. And, of course, below this video, you can find the various links to my affiliates. You know how those things work. But nonetheless, guys, thank you so much for your continued support. Appearing there on the screen, that's going to be the channel icon for YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, of course, you guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.